Hi Leo, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your September 2022 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who like, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and also pulled the 4 agreements, Wisdom of the Oracle, and Mudra card for you guys. But before we start that, we'll actually roll those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. So let's see what we get. Alright, so we have Cancer energy, and Cancer energy for you guys, that's your 12th house of spirituality, blind spots, mental health. Nothing really going on there astrologically speaking in September, but there could still be an impact on that area of life for you guys. Alright, we have 2. So second house energy for you guys is Virgo, and of course there's going to be plenty of energy in Virgo in September. And second house relates to possession, self-worth, finances. And we have Jupiter. Jupiter is actually in Aries, which is your 9th house of philosophy, higher learning, foreign affairs, and it's retrograde, but could definitely be some impact in that area of life as well. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main spread. The main situation position, we have the Death card, Scorpio energy, and challenging that, we have the Queen of Swords, Libra energy. So I can see this playing out a couple of different ways. For some of you, this could just be saying that there's something that's already come to an end, and there's a possibility to restore balance around the situation, but for whatever reason, there's not any effort being put into doing that just yet. For others of you, this could just be saying that there actually is a need to end something that hasn't been ended yet, but there's a reluctance to communicate around that as well. So definitely looks like communication is going to be a theme as far as that goes either way. Alright, in the foundation position, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So this is Virgo energy here, and we were just talking about it came up with your dice as well. So yeah, could just be saying that in this month you might actually be getting some increases around your finances. Maybe it's going to be a slow moving offer. So for example, maybe you might find out about it in September, but it might not actually come into play for you guys until October. Just a super generic example of how it could be coming across. Or for some of you, might finally arrive this month, but it's taken forever, right? So maybe this was something that you were expecting from months ago. And for some of you, whatever this is, it could be related to the situation directly as well, to where maybe there's finally going to be some communication and movement around the situation that's been stuck for a while. All right, past energy, we have the Fool and the Six of Wands. So this is actually Leo energy here. So yeah, this could just be saying that whatever the situation is related to, in the beginning you might have actually just made a leap of faith around the situation, and in doing so it might have felt like a victory for you initially. So this could be one of those things that in the beginning things might have been going very well in the situation. So yeah, for a lot of you, I feel like this is more of a situation where it's something that might still be going on, but for whatever reason things are out of balance now, but there's, for whatever reason, either you or the other side involved, there's a lack of communication around restoring the balance. So things definitely seem to have just gotten out of whack, but it looks like it can be rebalanced. Alright, in the position of the present, we have the Ace of Wands. So yeah, for some of you, maybe you're getting an idea of how you might be able to repair the situation. Or, like I said, for those of you where this is more of a situation where there's something that's needed to go for a while and you just haven't communicated around it, for some of you might actually get an idea of how to address that now. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for that. Alright, in the near future position, we have the Eight of Wands, Sagittarius energy, and Justice, Libra energy. So yeah, for a lot of you, it looks like there can be balance restored in a situation, especially with that Libra energy popping up. To me, the Sagittarius energy, for you guys, that's actually 5th house of romance, creativity, children. But when I see this card, I often think of communication and organized communication too, structured communication, because we see all the wands heading in the same direction. So to me, it represents kind of working toward a common goal. And with the Justice card beneath that, could just be saying that the goal could be to restore balance. So Libra energy here, just like we see with the Queen of Swords, but obviously it's an even higher level, given that it's the Major Arcana version of that. So yeah, for some of you, this could just be related to the Mercury retrograde we're going to have in September. It's going to start in Libra, which is your 3rd house communication, and then backtrack into Virgo. So for some of you, this can be some kind of rebalancing of a situation related to finances, but there definitely needs to be communication around it for sure. All right, in the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Seven of Swords. So yeah, obviously this is an energy that could point to deception, right? So definitely be on the lookout for that, especially given that we do see the justice energy in the near future, which to me says that, hey, karma is going to be played out positively one way or the other. So you want to make sure you're on the right side of that, right? But for some of you, this could just be as simple as what I was saying before, right? Like a lack of communication around the situation. So, okay, a super generic example, let's say you're in a relationship that you've been in for a long time, right? Maybe in the past you rushed into it, right? And it might have felt like a really great thing at the time, but maybe as time's gone on, you've realized that, okay, maybe me and this person aren't all that compatible, right? So, but for whatever reason, you could be reluctant to address it with them, right? So you could just be kind of, yes, acting like you're still in a relationship, but really you're one foot in, one foot out at a minimum, right? It could be even worse than that, but I feel like that's what it's kind of saying there, where you're, playing the part in the relationship, but realistically you're already looking elsewhere. That's kind of what I see as one potential way it could be playing out. And if it's around finances too, make sure that you're on up and up there too, right? So if you're in some kind of a partnership, and maybe you've been taking more than your fair share, or vice versa, they've been doing that to you, right? But you've just been reluctant to call them out on it. This could just be saying that this month would be a good month to address that either way. All right. In the environment position, we have the Magician. So yeah, to me, this is a good energy this year because for the majority of you, I feel like this is still pointing to your energy as opposed to someone in your environment. So if we want to say that this represents your energy, I feel like this is saying that don't underestimate the ability you have to impact your environment this month as far as, you have all the tools at your disposal. So again, keep in mind that that justice card in your future is going to be key there, because if you're on the up and up, things will play out well. But again, like I said, if you guys are the ones bringing deceptive energy to a situation, it actually could backfire. So just be on the lookout for that. And for some of you, if this is someone in your environment, to be fair, it is in the upright, so it's not as likely that they would be deceptive. It's a possibility, but given that they're in the upright, I feel like it is less likely. Now, keep in mind, if this is something where, okay, so let's go back to a financial example, right? Maybe there's someone who owes you money, right? But they might act like, oh no, I don't have the money to pay you back right now, or something like that, right? If that's the case, I'd be on the lookout for that, because I feel like this is saying at a minimum, even if they don't technically have it right now, they have a way that they could get it. So just something to keep in mind there. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Empress and the Five of Wands. So for some of you, it might be a split, which is to say you're hoping for the Empress energy, right, to just be able to relax, enjoy yourselves, and then the fear could be that there could be conflict that would come up in a situation. But let me see if they're related. Yeah, that could be one way that they're related, where on the one hand, this is your desire, but you're fearful that this is going to be the reality, right? For others, you just could just be saying that you might have a fear around actually taking a seat and sitting back in a situation, because you feel like if you were to kind of step out of a situation, that chaos might ensue, right? So if there's some kind of group dynamic that you're dealing with, you might feel like without your input, everyone might kind of vie for the number one spot in a way. So, then you get into a little bit of conflict and chaos. Let me see what else comes to mind with this. Yeah, that's pretty much what I see with that. All right. In the outcome position, we have the Eight of Cups, Pisces energy, and the Queen of Pentacles, Capricorn energy. So yeah, with the Eight of Cups energy here, to me, it does represent that for a lot of you, we'll be leaving something behind. Maybe feeling like it's just not fulfilling enough for you, right? And actually moving towards something that's more stable. So we've mentioned a few different ways it could be playing out, right? Like I said, for some of you, this could be a situation where there has been a need to leave it behind, but for whatever reason, you've had reluctance to do so. So if that's the case, let's say maybe it's a partnership, right? Where you might feel like the person you're in partnership with, they're not pulling their weight in the situation. So you're like, okay, this is really just leading to a loss for me, right? And you might decide to cut ties in that regard. And even if this is around something that you might find to be just a little bit emotionally unfulfilling, right? And maybe in the past, it was bringing you a lot of excitement, success, right? But now you just feel like, okay, At the time, it might have been a good fit for me, but now it's not necessarily hitting the same way that it was then, right? So there could be a desire to move forward from there on your part. But yeah, no matter what, I feel like I said, especially given that Mercury retrograde is going to start in your third house of communication and move into your second house of finances. For a lot of you, this is going to be financially related. And then we saw the second house come up in your dice too. So it could be some kind of renegotiation going on around finances this month. All right, bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Wands. So yeah, to me, this represents that just that desire in you to actually take action. So I feel like whatever the situation's related to, we're going to have Mars in Gemini, for example, for pretty much all of September. So maybe that's going to be that thing that kind of is that spark for you to make you get up and go around the situation. So whatever ideas you've had for a while, right, now that with Mars moving into that sign, now you're actually ready to act on them. All right, moving on to your 4 agreements card, we have always do your best. It says express your own divinity. Okay, it says you don't need the acceptance of others. You don't need knowledge or great philosophical concepts. You have the right to be you, and you express your own divinity by being alive and by loving yourself and others. So, interesting message there, because maybe if it is some kind of a group dynamic, right, that you're dealing with, that you just feel like you don't necessarily fit with them anymore, it could just be saying that could be where you might have to come to that realization to be true to yourself in that regard, right? And then maybe that's what that Empress and Five of Wands energy we saw was about, meaning that, if you feel like everyone's vying for their voice to be heard above all others, right? One of those types of situations. Maybe that's the situation that you find yourselves in now, but hopefully that resonated. All right, and moving on to your Wisdom Oracle card, we have Orphaned. Okay, we'll focus. There we go. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 5. So let's see what this has to say. Okay, essential meaning says a sense of loss, an identity crisis, recognizing that you don't fit in, the need to belong, uncertainty about your place. The Oracle's message: we were all meant to have connections with other people, with our family, society, and the larger culture. No man is an island, and it's important to recognize when being a part of, rather than separate from, is essential to your well-being. The issue at hand is the need to find where you fit. Be true to your core truths and values. Perhaps you no longer identify with a group or community the way you did before, and need to find a new situation. You might be feeling a deep sense of loss or confusion. Address the need for belonging, and know that you will find your place with others of like mind and spirit. It's okay to let go of the pressure to fit in. Not everyone will understand you. It's time to move on. So yeah, for some of you, that could definitely be what that Death card and Queen of Swords situation is about that we were talking about there. So hopefully that resonated if that's the case. The relationship message says, as you shift and evolve and commit to your own growth, you long for support but may be disappointed and hurt by others who are not providing what you feel you deserve. Perhaps you are drifting apart from this relationship because you're in a different stage of personal growth. Perhaps you are in a new relationship and discovering that you don't share the same values and beliefs, so you feel left out, unable to get to that intimate place of safety and belonging. Take heart, as Spirit knows you and loves you, and will steer you in the direction of those who accept you as you are without artifice or agenda. Don't compromise yourself to belong. It won't be worth the price. So yeah, that message there makes me think of the Seven of Swords energy, where I was saying, maybe you guys, on the one hand, you're playing a part. I figured it could have been possibly a romantic connection, but it could also be friendships and just group associations in general, where like you're kind of playing the part, right? Still showing up there, but really you're one foot in, one foot out, right? Because you're not feeling like you can relate to those people in the same way anymore. With that magician energy, like I said, you definitely seem to have power to shape your environment this month too. So if you do feel like you need a new group to connect with, you could definitely be on the lookout for that this month. All right. The prosperity message says this card reminds you that you can't be all things to all people. You are not going to be popular with everyone, and that has to be okay with you. Be clear about your mission, your brand, your work persona, and your contribution to the world, as these must be based on what you authentically have to offer, not something you think will sell or you perceive they may want. You will attract abundance by being completely yourself. Stay in your own lane. That's where you will shine and where you will experience prosperity. So yeah, definitely a pretty solid message there too. And that actually brings me back to thinking about the Fool card here with the Six of Wands, because maybe that's kind of what that's calling back to, right? When there was a point in your life where you were authentic and true to yourself and it was bringing you success. So if you feel like you've come off that path, maybe that's the issue there, right? Where maybe you've been trying to fit in whatever is rather than just being your authentic self in a certain situation. So hopefully that resonated as well. And lastly, we have a mudra for you guys. So this is your mudra here. It's the Kilaka mudra. The keyword for it is union. All right, and there's the info on it. If you want to pause there, take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But it says tonifies the water element in the body, improves the function of the kidneys, bladder, and sexual glands, fosters a sense of emotional safety and comfort around intimacy and sexuality, can also be used as a devotional gesture to express or evoke the union of masculine Shiva and feminine Shakti. So if that sounds like a mudra that can be beneficial for you guys, I'll put the name in the description video as always. Wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.